Massive stones frame the rising sun on a day lost to memory. These silent structures are not just monuments, they are ancient libraries of astronomy, holding lost knowledge of planetary cycles. This journey reveals 20 archaeological wonders that show our ancestors tracked the sun, moon, and stars with astonishing precision. You will learn to see these ruins as sophisticated astronomical instruments, from a solar computer in England to a mountain observatory in Peru. Why would cultures across the globe build such complex celestial calendars? What did they understand about the cosmos that we are only now rediscovering? Which ancient sky watcher's story most resonates with your own sense of wonder? The summer solstice sun still finds its mark across the Salisbury Plain, blazing a trail between those ancient pillars. But Stonehenge is far more than a solar target. Its great sarsen circle, with lintels locked together by complex joints, forms a continuous stone ring in the sky. This was not merely symbolic. Each massive stone was carefully selected and positioned, with the so-called heel stone acting as a perfect foresight for the rising sun on the longest day of the year. The achievement is staggering, a testament to a society that could orchestrate the movement of colossal stones across great distances without the wheel or metal tools. They encoded their understanding of the year into the very earth. Recent laser surveys have added a new dimension, revealing subtle carvings of axe heads and daggers on the stones that may themselves be celestial symbols. How did a people without written language design such a precise astronomical instrument? Archaeologist Mike Parker Pearson proposes that Stonehenge was the domain of the sun, linked to the living, while nearby sites like Durrington Walls were connected to the moon and ancestral spirits. This was a cosmology in stone, a physical manifestation of a belief system intertwined with the cycles of life, death, and the cosmos itself. This profound need to mark celestial time was not unique to Europe. Across the Atlantic, another civilization carved a solar observatory directly into the spine of a mountain. 13 stone towers still march across a Peruvian desert ridge, a jagged stone spine against the sky. Built more than 2,300 years ago, this is the Chankillo Observatory, the oldest known solar calendar in the Americas. From two distinct observing points, the sunrises and sunsets would paint a brilliant picture of the passing year. On the December solstice, the sun would rise directly to the right of the rightmost tower. As the days lengthened, the sunrise point would shift steadily leftward along the horizon, passing behind each successive tower until it reached the far left on the June solstice, marking the year's turn. This was a calendar in stone, a public spectacle of celestial movement that could pinpoint any date within a couple of days. The precision is breathtaking. Researchers Ivan Gezi and Clive Ruggles demonstrated that the entire complex functioned as a sophisticated solar marker. This was not an abstract monument. It was a practical tool for an agricultural society, dictating the perfect times for planting and harvest, and for ceremonial events that bound the community together. Yet, the knowledge to read this celestial clock was likely concentrated in the hands of a few. The site includes a heavily fortified temple, a place that suggests astronomical understanding was a source of immense power. Could it be that a priestly class watched from within those walls, their authority secured by the ability to predict the sun's unwavering path? This connection between celestial knowledge and social control is a recurring echo across the ancient world. From this horizontal calendar tracking our star's annual dance, we journey to a place that mapped a far more complex and elusive cycle, the 18.6-year journey of the moon. Deep within the Irish landscape, a different kind of solar miracle unfolds in the heart of winter. On the morning of the solstice, a single, narrow beam of sunlight pierces the profound darkness inside a massive, 5,000-year-old tomb. For 17 precious minutes, this golden light travels down a long stone passage to illuminate a central chamber, a place of ancient rest. This is Newgrange, a monument older than Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Its most breathtaking feature is a specially engineered opening above the entrance, a roof box designed with one extraordinary purpose: to capture the first light of the rising sun on the shortest day of the year. The symbolism is powerful and immediate, a celebration of rebirth and the enduring victory of light over the deepest dark. The engineering itself is a marvel of the ancient world. The roof of the passage was constructed using a technique called corbelling, where layers of flat stones were stacked, each one jutting slightly inward until they met at the top. This ingenious design has kept the inner chamber completely dry for millennia. The outside of the great mound is ringed with white quartz stones and decorated with intricate spirals and diamond shapes, carvings that some researchers believe map the movements of celestial bodies. Professor Michael J. O'Kelly, who led the site's modern reconstruction, witnessed this solstice event and described it as a deeply spiritual moment, a connection across time that linked the living with those who had passed. The precision required to align the entire structure so perfectly speaks to generations of careful sky watching. It suggests a society that did not merely observe the cosmos, but wove its cycles directly into their beliefs about life, death, and what lies beyond. Why would a farming community invest such immense effort in a monument dedicated to the sun's lowest point? For them, the winter solstice was not an end, but a necessary turning, a promise that the light would always return, just as the spirit might journey onward. This profound fusion of astronomy and spirituality, of tracking time to understand eternity, is a theme that resonates across the globe. And in the high desert of the American Southwest, another civilization would chart the heavens using a far more ephemeral canvas, the interplay of light and shadow upon rock. The Great Pyramid of Giza stands as a testament to architectural ambition on a cosmic scale. Its four sides align with the cardinal directions with an error of just 1/15 of a degree, a precision that would challenge modern engineers even with today's technology. This was no accidental feat. The pyramid's descending passageways were once precisely targeted on the pole star of that era, Thuban, a fixed point in the northern sky around 2600 BC. Further within, narrow shafts emanating from the king's chamber point directly toward stars like Sirius, associated with the goddess Isis, and the belt of the constellation Orion, linked to the god Osiris. This transforms the structure from a mere tomb into a sophisticated instrument of stone, a machine designed to channel celestial forces and guide a royal spirit toward the eternal stars. The connection to the cosmos runs even deeper. Researcher Robert Bovell's Orion correlation theory suggests the layout of the three great pyramids at Giza mirrors the precise arrangement of the three stars in Orion's belt. This would mean the entire plateau was a terrestrial map of a celestial realm, directly linking the pharaoh's journey after passing with the cyclical rebirth of the stars. The pyramid's very dimensions whisper of lost knowledge. Its base perimeter relates to the Earth's circumference, and its design incorporates the mathematical constant pi. This indicates a civilization with a profound understanding of both their world and the heavens above it. How did they achieve this while maneuvering millions of multi-ton blocks into place? The methods remain one of history's great puzzles. The pyramid is a physical manifestation of a belief system that saw no separation between the earthly and the celestial. Every measured angle and aligned passage was a statement of cosmic order, a way to embed the eternal cycles of the sky into the very landscape. This practice of encoding astronomical knowledge into monumental architecture was not confined to Egypt. Far across the ocean, the Maya were building their own stone calendars, tracking planetary cycles with a complexity that still astounds us today. A narrow, winding staircase ascends within a unique circular tower rising from the Yucatan jungle. This is the Caracol at Chichen Itza, a structure that defies the typical Maya architectural style for one clear purpose: to serve as a sophisticated observatory. Built between 800 and 900 CE, its peculiar design is no accident. The building combines a circular tower with a rectangular platform, and research by Anthony Aveni revealed that its strange alignments are precise markers for the planet Venus. From the upper chamber, astronomers would have peered through strategically placed windows and slits, tracking the brilliant planet's journey across the night sky. The alignments marked Venus's northern and southernmost positions on the horizon, critical points in its 584-day cycle. This was not merely stargazing for curiosity's sake. For the Maya, Venus was deeply intertwined with their calendar, agriculture, and even warfare. The precise calculation of its synodic period, the 584 days it takes to return to the same point relative to the Sun, demonstrates a mathematical sophistication that rivaled any contemporary civilization in the world. They knew its appearances as both the morning and evening star, and they planned significant events around its celestial movements. The observatory's slits also aligned with the solstice sunsets and equinox events, transforming the entire structure into a multi-functional celestial tracking station. Why would a civilization invest such effort in a single planet? In Maya cosmology, Venus was associated with the god Kukulkan, a deity of creation and wind, but also with conflict. Its cycles were believed to influence the outcomes of battles, making its prediction a source of immense power and strategic advantage. The Caracol stands as a testament to a culture that saw the cosmos as a living, influential force, one they could understand and even anticipate through precise observation and calculation. This deep focus on planetary cycles finds a remarkable parallel far to the south, where another civilization carved their understanding of the stars directly into the arid Earth. More than 2,000 years ago, a ship carrying a treasure beyond gold sank into the Aegean Sea. In 1901, sponge divers working in deep water off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera stumbled upon the wreck. Among the statues and artifacts, they recovered a corroded lump of bronze, its true nature hidden beneath centuries of sea growth. Decades later, researchers realized this was not a simple statue fragment. It was the Antikythera mechanism, the world's oldest known analog computer, a device of breathtaking complexity crafted in the 2nd century BCE. This intricate machine, no larger than a shoebox, contained a universe of knowledge forged in bronze. Inside its wooden case, more than 30 precisely cut gear wheels interlocked, a miniature cosmos of turning cogs. By turning a hand crank, an operator could make dials and pointers simulate the movements of the sun, the moon, and known planets across the sky. It predicted lunar phases and solar eclipses with remarkable accuracy, and it even tracked the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games. This was not just a calculator, it was a portable planetarium, a mechanical representation of Greek astronomical understanding. For a long time, the mechanism's true secrets remained locked within its calcified layers. Then, advanced CT scanning undertaken by the Antikythera Mechanism Research Project allowed scientists to see inside the gears and read the tiny, faded inscriptions covering its surfaces. These texts acted as an ancient user manual, explaining how to operate the dials to follow celestial cycles. the scans revealed a level of engineering sophistication that historians believed was impossible for its time. The device even accounted for the moon's irregular orbit, a subtle wobble known as lunar anomaly, using a complex pin and slot mechanism that perfectly modeled its changing speed. This suggests the mechanism may have incorporated the theories of the astronomer Hipparchus, and some researchers argue its design implies a heliocentric, or sun-centered, view of the solar system centuries before Copernicus. How could such a revolutionary piece of technology vanish from history for nearly 2,000 years? Its loss represents a profound rupture in our technological timeline. The Antikythera mechanism stands as a singular relic of a path not taken, a glimpse of a potential ancient scientific revolution that was swallowed by the sea and lost to time. It demonstrates that the drive to understand the cosmos could manifest not only in massive stone calendars under open skies, but also in intricate, hand-held machines of genius. This portable planetarium represents a completely different approach to celestial tracking, one of miniaturization and mechanical replication, showing the stunning diversity of ancient astronomical methods. From this intricate machine born of Greek intellect, we travel to a desert landscape where an entire civilization mapped the heavens using something far more elemental, the very ground beneath their feet. High on a mountain ridge, the stones of Machu Picchu seem to grow from the rock itself. At the heart of the citadel stands the Intihuatana stone, a granite pillar carved with impossible precision. Its name translates to the hitching post of the sun. For the Inca, this was no mere metaphor. During the winter solstice, as the sun reached its lowest point in the sky, priests would perform a ceremony at this very stone. They believed its power could literally tether the sun, stopping its southward retreat and coaxing it back to nourish the world. This was astronomy as an act of survival, a ritual to maintain the cosmic order upon which all life depended. The entire city is a testament to this profound relationship between the built environment and the celestial realm. The Temple of the Sun, a curved wall of flawless masonry, features a window perfectly aligned to capture the first rays of the rising sun on the June solstice. From within its semi-darkness, the sunlight would strike a specific niche in the stone, a moment of dramatic illumination that marked a turning point in the year. But the alignments extend beyond the sun. Researcher Dearborn found that another window in the Torion Temple frames the rising of the Pleiades star cluster. In Inca cosmology, the appearance of these stars before dawn signaled the start of the new agricultural year and the time to prepare the soil for planting. The very layout of the city reflects a celestial blueprint. Its main structures and plazas are oriented with the cardinal directions, while the surrounding sacred mountains, or apus, were integral to the Sec system. This was a complex radial organization of sacred space, with lines or secs emanating from the central temple in Cusco and connecting hundreds of shrines or huacas across the empire. Each line was associated with specific celestial bodies, social groups, and seasonal rituals. Machu Picchu itself was a vital node in this vast cosmological network. How did they achieve such precision while building on such treacherous, cloud-shrouded terrain? Their success speaks to generations of meticulous observation, where the movements of the stars were as familiar as the mountain paths. They did not simply build an observatory on a mountain. They built a mountain that was an observatory, seamlessly weaving the cycles of the cosmos into the fabric of their daily lives and spiritual beliefs. This intimate connection between earth and sky, so visible at Machu Picchu, finds a powerful echo in a very different part of the world, where a civilization chose the open desert as their canvas for mapping the heavens. The sprawling stone complex of Angkor Wat rises from the Cambodian jungle as a map of the cosmos carved from sandstone. As the largest religious monument on Earth, this 12th century masterpiece was designed as a perfect scale model of the Hindu universe. Its 5 iconic central towers represent the peaks of the sacred Mount Meru, the axis of the world, while the immense surrounding moat mirrors the primordial cosmic ocean. This celestial symbolism is not merely decorative, it is woven into the temple's very alignment. Unlike other Khmer temples that face east, Angkor Wat opens to the west, a deliberate orientation that creates a breathtaking spectacle during the spring equinox. On this day, the sun rises in perfect alignment, crowning the central tower with the first light of dawn, a phenomenon that still draws thousands of witnesses every year. This was architecture as a bridge between heaven and earth. Researcher Elena Manica's detailed analysis of the temple's dimensions revealed an even deeper layer of astronomical encoding. The measurements of the galleries and walkways correspond precisely to the durations of the 4 yugas, the vast cycles of time in Hindu cosmology that span millions of years. The temple is a physical calendar of cosmic ages, its stones counting down the eons. Every surface tells a celestial story. Elaborate bas-reliefs depict scenes from Hindu mythology, like the churning of the ocean of milk, which itself is an allegory for cosmic cycles. The walls are adorned with thousands of devatas, celestial nymphs whose specific postures and adornments may correspond to important stars or constellations in the Khmer sky. The entire layout incorporates alignments with the solstices and may even track the draconic cycle, the 18.6-year rhythm of the lunar nodes used to predict eclipses. What profound spiritual meaning did this equinox alignment hold for the Khmer Empire? For its builders, this annual event was a reaffirmation of cosmic order. It was the moment the divine king, residing in his terrestrial version of Mount Meru, was symbolically united with the sun, reinforcing his sacred authority and ensuring the harmony of the kingdom with the universe itself. This was a worldview where the human and heavenly realms were not separate, but reflections of a single, ordered reality. From this immense temple mapping an entire cosmology, we find a different kind of celestial record, one not carved in stone but etched into the very soil of a remote Pacific island. The oldest freestanding stone structures on Earth rise from the Maltese coastline, silent witnesses to a Stone Age society that tracked the sun with uncanny precision. The Mnajdra temple complex, built around 3600 BC, predates even Stonehenge by over 1,000 years. Its south temple is a masterpiece of Neolithic engineering, a celestial clock carved from limestone. On the morning of the equinox, the first rays of the sun pierce the main doorway, casting a perfect rectangle of light onto a large, decorated stone slab deep within the sanctuary. As the seasons turn, this solar marker shifts. During the solstices, the rising sun aligns with different megalithic doorways, framing the light and marking the sun's most extreme northern and southern points on the horizon. Archaeologist Gerald Formosa documented that these alignments are far too accurate to be accidental. They reveal a culture that had developed a sophisticated solar calendar, essential for knowing when to plant and when to harvest, and for timing the rituals that unified their community. The construction itself speaks of a deep understanding of stoneworking and spatial geometry. The temples feature corbelled ceilings, where stones are layered inward to form a roof, and their distinctive elliptical layouts may themselves be models of cosmological principles. Curious spiral and dot motifs are carved into the altars and walls. Could these intricate patterns be maps of the stars or records of celestial events? How did these Neolithic islanders, isolated on their small archipelago, developed such precise astronomical knowledge entirely on their own. The Mnajdra temples are an early, brilliant flowering of celestial observation, a testament to humanity's enduring drive to read the sky and find our place within its cycles. This ancient need to chart the heavens from isolated islands finds a powerful parallel on the other side of the world, where a remote culture created one of the most mysterious celestial maps ever discovered. High on a sheer cliff face in Chaco Canyon, 3 massive stone slabs lean against the rock, a natural arrangement that became a breathtakingly precise celestial instrument. Sunlight filters through the narrow gaps between these stones, projecting sharp, dagger-like slivers of light onto the spiral petroglyphs carved behind them. Throughout the year, these light daggers travel across the stone canvas, their positions marking the solstices and equinoxes with silent, predictable accuracy. On the summer solstice, a single dagger of light pierces directly through the center of the largest spiral. At the winter solstice, 2 daggers perfectly bracket the same symbol. During the equinoxes, a smaller dagger touches a separate, smaller spiral. This was not a passive observation. It was an active, dynamic calendar painted by the sun itself onto a sacred rock art gallery. The ancestral Puebloan people who engineered this phenomenon did so without moving the giant slabs, instead using their precise understanding of solar angles to select the perfect canvas for their carvings. The discovery of this site in 1977 by artist Anna Sofer opened a window into a sophisticated astronomical tradition. Her meticulous observations over years revealed an even more astonishing feature. The site also tracked the moon. The larger spiral contains 19 distinct grooves, a number that strongly suggests the recording of the Metonic cycle. This is the 19-year period after which the phases of the moon realign with the solar year, a complex cycle known to the ancient Greeks but here evidenced in the American Southwest. What does this intricate, almost fragile system reveal about the Chacoan world? In a landscape of monumental great houses, this subtle sun clock speaks to a different kind of knowledge, one based on patient, long-term observation of light and shadow. It suggests that astronomical understanding was not confined to grand constructions, but was also encoded into the very landscape, turning a sun-drenched cliff into a sacred timepiece. This delicate interplay was, however, tragically fleeting. After its discovery, the attention of researchers and visitors inadvertently led to erosion, causing the slabs to shift minutely. This tiny movement was enough to disrupt the ancient alignments, and the perfect sun-dagger phenomenon is now lost, a poignant reminder of how fragile these connections to the past can be. From this lost light show on a canyon wall, we journey to a completely different environment, where a civilization mapped the heavens not with light and shadow, but with vast lines drawn across an entire desert plain. In a field in Germany, a simple circle of wooden posts marks one of humanity's earliest known attempts to capture the sun's journey. This is the Goseck Circle, a Neolithic enclosure built nearly 7,000 years ago, making it the oldest confirmed solar observatory in Europe. Its design is deceptively simple, concentric rings of timber palisades with just 3 narrow gates. Yet these openings were precisely aligned, one facing the sunrise and another the sunset on the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice. From the center of the circle, an observer would witness the sun's rebirth, its low arc framed perfectly by these wooden gateways, a dramatic confirmation that the long nights would finally begin to shorten. Its discovery was a triumph of modern archaeology, first spotted as a faint, circular crop mark from an airplane in 1991. Excavations led by archaeologists Francois Berthimes and Peter Beal revealed the post holes that held the massive timbers, allowing the entire structure to be reconstructed on its original site. This was not a fortress or a village. It was a sacred space, a solar temple built by Central European farmers who tracked the heavens with a methodical precision we once thought impossible for their era. How did a society without metal tools or written language achieve such an exact understanding of the solar cycle? The answer lies in the rhythm of their lives. For these early farmers, knowing the precise date of the solstice was a matter of survival. It told them when the coldest depths of winter had truly passed and when to prepare their fields for the coming spring. The circle was likely the stage for rituals that pleaded for the sun's return and celebrated the turning of the year, ceremonies that bound the community together under the shared sky. The astronomical knowledge was not kept separate from daily life. Curiously, the same solstice alignments found in the massive timber circle are also seen repeated in the intricate spiral patterns on pottery from the same period. This suggests that the movement of the sun was not just a practical concern but was woven into their very art and identity, a fundamental symbol of cosmic order. The Goseck circle stands as a powerful reminder that the drive to understand the cosmos is ancient and universal. It predates the Great Pyramids by millennia and shows that systematic astronomy emerged independently across the globe, wherever people looked up and wondered. From this simple ring of posts in Germany, we see the deep roots of a practice that would eventually find expression in the colossal stones of Stonehenge, a lineage of sky watching that connects the first farmers of Europe to the great monument builders of the Bronze Age. 4 colossal statues of Ramses II stare eternally across the Nubian desert, guarding the entrance to a mountain carved not just into rock, but into the very path of the sun. Twice each year, a miracle of stone and light unfolds deep within this temple. At dawn on February 22nd and October 22nd, the first rays of the rising sun pierce the 60-meter-long, pitch-black hall, slicing through the inner darkness to strike the statues of the sun god Ra-Horakhti, the king of the gods Amun, and the deified pharaoh Ramses himself. The 4th statue of the underworld god Ptah remains forever in shadow, for he belongs to a different realm. This was no accident of construction. The entire temple axis was a feat of solar geometry, calculated so precisely that the sun itself performed a divine ritual, bathing the gods in light on dates believed to mark the pharaoh's coronation and birthday. The ancient architects had to account for the sun's changing altitude throughout the year, a complex understanding that allowed them to design for 2 specific days, and only those 2. This engineered phenomenon was the ultimate statement of royal power, a direct, undeniable link between the pharaoh and the cosmic order. In the 1960s, this alignment faced its greatest challenge. The rising waters of Lake Nasser, created by the Aswan High Dam, threatened to submerge the temple forever. In one of history's most ambitious archaeological rescues, the entire structure was cut into more than 1,000 blocks, carefully moved to higher ground, and reassembled like a colossal puzzle. The international team of engineers faced an immense task to not only reconstruct the temple, but to preserve its celestial function. Working with modern tools and a deep respect for the original architects, they succeeded with millimeter precision. Today, the sun still finds its mark, a testament to both ancient genius and modern dedication. Why did the Egyptians invest such incredible effort in this solar alignment? For them, the pharaoh was a bridge between the people and the gods. This biannual event was a public demonstration of that sacred connection, a moment when the boundary between the human and divine dissolved in a blaze of light, reaffirming the king's role in maintaining the balance of the universe, or Mot. This profound integration of royal authority and celestial mechanics, carved into a living mountain, shows us that for ancient Egypt, astronomy was not just a science, it was the language of the gods. High on a windswept Wyoming mountain, a circle of stones lies quiet against the sky. This is the Big Horn Medicine Wheel, a celestial map laid out at an elevation of 10,000 feet. Its design is elegantly simple, a central cairn of stone surrounded by a wide ring, connected by 28 spokes that radiate outward like the rays of the sun. Yet this apparent simplicity masks a profound understanding of the heavens. Built by Plains Indians between 1200 and 1700 CE, the wheel's alignments are precise. Specific spokes point directly to the rising and setting sun on the summer solstice, marking the peak of the warm season. But the mountain environment is harsh, and the sun alone could not provide all the answers. Here, the stars became essential guides. Other stone cairns positioned around the wheel's outer rim align with the rising points of brilliant stars like Aldebaran, Rigel, and Sirius. For a nomadic culture, these celestial events were a fixed calendar in the sky, signaling the time to move to lower pastures or to begin the hunt for migrating herds. Anthropologist Jack Eddy demonstrated that these stellar alignments provided a more precise and reliable long-term calendar than solar observations alone in this challenging landscape. Why 28 spokes? This number strongly suggests a tracking of the lunar month, the roughly 28-day cycle of the moon, a rhythm deeply woven into the lives of many indigenous cultures. The wheel is not an isolated monument. It shares a common design with other medicine wheels scattered across the North American plains, pointing to a widespread and sophisticated tradition of landscape astronomy. These sites were not merely observatories, they were sacred spaces where the cosmos, the Earth, and human life were understood as one interconnected whole. This deep integration is not a relic of the past. Ceremonies are still performed at the Big Horn Medicine Wheel today, maintaining a living connection between the community, their cultural practices, and the eternal cycles above. How did a people who followed the buffalo herds develop such precise and enduring knowledge? Their astronomy was not built of stone and mortar, but of memory, story, and a lifelong relationship with the sky. It was a knowledge carried in the mind and heart, passed down through generations, and renewed with every ceremony held under the stars. This nomadic celestial science represents a completely different way of knowing, one that wove the fabric of the cosmos directly into the cultural landscape. The governor's palace at Uxmal stretches across an artificial platform like a stone codex waiting to be read. Its central doorway, precisely oriented, frames a specific point on the southern horizon where the brilliant planet Venus makes its most extreme stand once every 8 years. This was not a random alignment. For the late classic Maya, this city was a masterpiece of celestial engineering, where architecture and astronomy fused into a single discipline. The entire complex was a three-dimensional calendar dedicated to the cycles of Venus. Researcher John Carlson discovered that the facade of the governor's palace itself is embedded with Venus glyphs and numerical counts that correspond to the planet's 584-day synodic period, the time it takes to return to the same position relative to the sun. The building literally counts the days. It stones a permanent record of celestial motion. This obsession extended across the city. The imposing pyramid of the magician incorporates rounded corners and an elliptical base, features that some scholars believe helped mark the sun's solstice path. The buildings of the nunnery quadrangle align with the solar zenith passages, those 2 days each year when the sun passes directly overhead and casts no shadow, a significant event for a culture that measured the world with light and shadow. Why would an entire city be dedicated to tracking a single planet? In Maya cosmology, Venus was not a passive light in the sky. It was a celestial actor, intimately linked with the god Kukulkan, and associated with both life-giving rain and the turmoil of conflict. Its appearances as the morning and evening star were carefully watched. its cycles dictating the timing of important ceremonies and even military campaigns. Predicting its movements was a source of profound power, a way to align human activity with the perceived will of the gods. The sophisticated tracking at Uxmal reveals a civilization that saw the cosmos as a living, breathing entity, its rhythms etched into their temples and palaces for all to witness. This deep connection between planetary knowledge and sacred architecture finds a powerful echo in a very different part of the world, where another culture built a celestial calendar not for a single planet, but for the entire sky. Thousands of silent stones march across the Brittany landscape in perfect parallel rows, a vast geometric puzzle laid out more than 6,000 years ago. This is the Carnac alignments, Europe's most extensive megalithic complex. Over 4 kilometers long, these thousands of standing stones or menhirs are not a random collection. They form a colossal observatory dedicated to the moon's slow 18.6-year dance. While solar alignments are common in ancient sites, Carnac's true genius lies in its lunar focus. Specific, larger stones within the seemingly endless rows mark the points of the major and minor lunar standstill. This is the moment when the moon, in its complex orbit, reaches its most extreme northerly or southerly rising and setting position on the horizon, a cycle that takes nearly 2 decades to complete. Why would a Neolithic society invest such immense communal effort in tracking this long, subtle rhythm? For a coastal community, the moon's cycle was intimately tied to the powerful tides that shaped their daily life and food sources. Predicting these extremes may have been a matter of both practical survival and profound spiritual significance. The engineering of this landscape required generations of precise observation. Researcher Alexander Thom meticulously surveyed the site and proposed that the alignments functioned as a sophisticated lunar calendar. The stones acted as permanent foresights and backsights, allowing observers to track the moon's shifting path against the distant horizon with remarkable accuracy. This was not a project for a single village. The scale of Carnac suggests a society unified by a shared cosmological vision, one that coordinated to erect these stones over centuries. The knowledge gleaned from this stone computer was likely guarded by a select few. The nearby tumulus of St. Michel, a massive burial mound, contained polished axe heads and other fine artifacts, items that hint at a special status for those interred within. Could this have been the resting place of an astronomical priesthood, the individuals who held the power to interpret the moon's cycles and advise the community? Not far away lies the Grand Menhir Brisset, a colossal stone that now lies broken in 4 pieces. When erect, it would have stood over 20 meters tall, the largest single stone ever raised by Neolithic people. Its location and immense height suggest it may have served as a central foresight for observing celestial events, its peak pinpointing a star or the moon against a distant horizon marker. The sheer effort of its transportation and erection speaks to the supreme importance of celestial observation in this culture. How did they manage such a feat without metal tools or the wheel? The Carnac alignments stand as a breathtaking example of a communal approach to astronomy, a vast project that turned an entire coastal region into a sacred map of the heavens. The entire city of Teotihuacan was laid out as a cosmic diagram in stone. This immense pre-Aztec metropolis, built by a people whose name we do not even know, is centered on the Street of the Dead, a grand avenue that does not run true north, but instead aligns 15.5 degrees east. This precise orientation may have targeted the setting point of the Pleiades star cluster, a celestial grouping known to later Mesoamerican cultures as a signifier of the cyclical renewal of time and the agricultural season. From this sacred baseline, the city's 2 greatest structures rise with breathtaking astronomical intent. The Pyramid of the Sun, a mountain of earth and rubble faced with stone, is not aligned to the solstices as one might expect. Instead, its western facade points directly to the sunset on August 12th and 13th. Why these specific dates? For the Maya, whose civilization flourished to the south, this moment marked the start of their long count calendar, the day of creation itself. The builders of Teotihuacan appear to have anchored their greatest pyramid to this foundational cosmic event, embedding the birth of a new age into their urban core. Across the plaza, the Pyramid of the Moon creates a different kind of celestial theater. Its construction on elevated ground gives it the same apparent height as the massive mountain looming behind it, a masterpiece of visual engineering. From key points along the Street of the Dead, an observer during a lunar standstill would witness the moon at the peak of its 18.6-year cycle, appearing to set directly into the pyramid's summit, as if the structure itself were swallowing the celestial body. This was not a static monument, but a dynamic participant in the lunar dance. Archaeologist Saburo Sugiyama's meticulous excavations have revealed an even deeper layer of planning. The distances between the city's major pyramids and platforms correspond to numerical values found in Mesoamerican calendrical cycles, particularly the 52-year calendar round. The entire urban landscape was a physical expression of mathematical relationships governing the movements of planets and the passage of time. Why would a civilization with no known written language invest such incredible effort in encoding cosmic order into the very streets they walked? Teotihuacan was not merely a city where people lived. It was a living model of the universe, a place where daily life unfolded within a sacred geometry that mirrored the heavens. This integration of astronomy and civic design was perhaps the ultimate expression of their worldview, a belief that human society could only flourish if it was perfectly synchronized with the timeless cycles of the cosmos. A single bronze disk, no larger than a dinner plate, holds the oldest known map of the cosmos. Crafted around 1600 BC, the Nebra sky disk is a breathtaking artifact, its dark blue-green surface inlaid with shimmering gold symbols. A central cluster of 7 stars almost certainly represents the Pleiades, a celestial marker for planting and harvest across the ancient world. A great golden circle and a crescent moon sail across this metal sky, while golden arcs along the edges frame the sun's journey between its solstice points. This was not merely a beautiful object, it was a sophisticated instrument designed to solve a fundamental problem: how to reconcile the lunar month with the solar year. By adding or removing the arcs, a Bronze Age priest or chieftain could physically demonstrate the relationship between these cycles, creating a portable calendar that harmonized the rhythms of the moon with the seasons of the sun. Its discovery was as dramatic as its design. In 1999, illegal treasure hunters unearthed it on a hilltop in Germany, along with 2 precious swords and other artifacts. Archaeologist Harold Meller eventually recovered the disc in a sting operation, saving it from being lost to the black market forever. Scientific analysis revealed something equally astonishing. The copper in the bronze came from the Austrian Alps, while the gold originated from Cornwall in distant Britain. This single object is a testament to far-flung trade networks, proving that along with precious metals, complex astronomical knowledge was also exchanged across the continent. How would such a powerful device have been used? It was likely employed in both ritual and practical contexts. A leader could hold this cosmic map, using it to announce the correct time for ceremonies or to dictate the optimal moment to sow seeds, their authority literally forged in metal and stars. The disk represents a pivotal moment in human history, the moment celestial observation shifted from the fixed horizon of a stone circle to a portable, personal possession. It bridges the vast communal astronomy of megaliths with a more intimate, powerful knowledge that could be held in one's hands. This profound shift echoes a pattern we see across the ancient world, where understanding the heavens was not just about marking time, but about wielding the very power that kept the universe in balance. The Great Sphinx of Giza stares eternally eastward, its stone gaze fixed on the horizon. On the morning of the spring equinox, the sun rises in perfect alignment, appearing directly between the colossal paws of this mythical guardian. This was no random placement. The Sphinx, a lion with the face of a pharaoh, embodies the solar lion, a symbol of immense power and the sun's role in the eternal cycle of rebirth and regeneration. Its orientation captures a moment of perfect celestial balance when day and night are equal, reflecting the Egyptian concept of Mot, the divine order of the cosmos. The entire Giza plateau functions as an integrated astronomical machine. The Sphinx Temple, situated directly east of the statue, features a courtyard surrounded by massive pillars. These pillars may have served as precise markers for the sun's shifting position throughout the year, turning the entire structure into a detailed solar calendar. To the south, the Valley Temple contains alignments connected to the star Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, which the Egyptians associated with the goddess Isis and the annual flooding of the Nile. This convergence of solar and stellar alignments suggests a complex understanding of multiple celestial cycles. Why would a civilization choose a lion to represent this cosmic principle? In ancient Egyptian mythology, the lion was a guardian of the horizon, a creature of immense strength associated with the sun god. The Sphinx is astronomy rendered in mythological form, a fusion of animal power and human intellect carved directly into the bedrock. Some researchers, like Robert Bovell, have proposed a far more ancient origin for this celestial blueprint. Their controversial theory suggests the entire Giza plateau was designed as a terrestrial reflection of the constellation Leo around 10,500 BC. While this idea is debated, it highlights the enduring mystery of the Sphinx's true purpose and the profound depth of astronomical knowledge encoded at Giza. This lion of stone is more than a statue. It is a permanent statement of a world where the earth and the heavens were inseparable, and where the sun's reliable journey was the very heartbeat of existence. At the Temple of Carnac, the axis of the world was real, and it was made of stone. This sprawling complex was not merely a collection of buildings but a deliberate cosmic engine, its primary avenue aimed directly at the winter solstice sunrise. For over 2,000 years, successive pharaohs added to this sacred site, each new pylon and courtyard reinforcing a single, profound message: the connection between the king and the sun god Amun-Ra. On the shortest day of the year, the low-rising sun would fire a beam of light down the entire length of the temple's main axis. This ray penetrated through a sequence of increasingly sacred gateways, moving past towering columns and through hypostyle halls until it finally reached the darkest, most restricted chamber of all, the sanctuary housing the god's sacred bark. There, in a dramatic burst of illumination, the divine vessel was bathed in golden light. This annual event was a public spectacle of rebirth, a moment when the sun god was symbolically renewed and his power channeled directly through the pharaoh, the sole intermediary for this celestial union. How did the priests orchestrate this solar ritual? Researcher Lanny Bell's work revealed that the entire architectural plan was a precise instrument for this phenomenon. The alignment was so exact that it transformed the massive stone structure into a calendar, marking the sun's turn and the promise of the year's renewal. The temple's sacred lake, a vast rectangular pool of water, served as more than a place for ceremonial purification. Its still, reflective surface would have provided a perfect mirror for the night sky, allowing priests to track the movements of important stars and correlate them with the solar and lunar cycles. The towering obelisks covered in electrum did not merely proclaim royal glory, they functioned as colossal gnomons, the central markers of a sundial. Their long, sharp shadows would sweep across paved courtyards, their positions marking the hours of the day with a grandeur befitting the sun god himself. This intricate fusion of astronomy, architecture, and state religion represents the pinnacle of Egyptian celestial engineering. The Temple of Carnac was a machine for making gods present, a place where the cycles of the sky were made tangible, ensuring the stability of the kingdom and the entire cosmos. Perched at the highest point of Machu Picchu, the Intihuatana stone is a masterpiece of granite and celestial intention. This carefully carved rock, whose four corners align perfectly with the cardinal directions, functions as a sophisticated sundial and solar calendar. Its central pillar casts no shadow whatsoever at solar noon during the equinoxes, a moment of perfect balance between light and dark. The name itself, Intihuatana, translates from Quechua as the hitching post of the sun, revealing a profound belief that this stone possessed the power to literally tether our star and prevent it from continuing its southward journey into winter. The angles and planes of the stone are not merely decorative, they were engineered with stunning precision to track the sun's shifting altitude throughout the entire year. Researcher Johann Reinhardt's work confirmed that the stone's orientation corresponds to major astronomical events, such as the December solstice when the sun sets in precise alignment behind the sacred peak of Huayna Picchu. This was not an isolated monument. The Intihuatana was the spiritual and astronomical anchor of the entire city, its purpose integrated with a network of sacred mountains or pews that surrounded it. Why would the Inca feel such an urgent need to hitch the sun? For an agricultural society living at high altitude, the sun's retreat signaled a time of potential hardship. The solstice ceremonies performed here were acts of cosmic maintenance, rituals to ensure the sun's return and the continuation of life itself. While many similar stones were destroyed during periods of conflict, this Intihuatana survived intact, a rare window into the Inca worldview. It stands as the ultimate expression of a culture that saw no separation between the cycles of the heavens, the power of the earth, and the spiritual life of its people. Their entire understanding of time and divinity was carved into this single, unshakable stone. These patterns across time and space reveal a profound truth about our species. From the stone rings of Europe to the desert lines of Peru, independent civilizations consistently turned their attention to the same celestial events. The solstices and equinoxes were not just moments in the year, they were pillars of existence. Knowing the precise day when the sun would begin its return was a matter of survival, dictating the planting of crops and the timing of communal ceremonies that held society together. This was a universal response to the sun's undeniable power over the world. The brilliant wanderer Venus captivated sky watchers on both sides of the ocean. In the jungles of the Maya and the classical world of Greece, this planet's unmistakable cycle was meticulously recorded. While one culture might see a god of conflict and another a symbol of rebirth, the object in the sky was the same. Its predictable path made it a celestial clock, a reliable marker in the heavens that different cultures could all recognize and use to structure their time, even if the stories they told about it were beautifully unique. The very shapes of their sacred architecture whisper of a shared language of form and function. Circular structures, from the timber rings of Goseck to the towers of Chankillo, often embraced the cyclical nature of the moon. Pyramidal forms rising in Egypt and Mesoamerica reached for the sun, acting as man-made mountains to bridge the earth and the sky. The drive to align buildings with the cardinal directions appears again and again, a testament to a universal desire to impose cosmic order on the human landscape. These were not random choices, they were the most logical, powerful forms for interacting with the celestial realm. What does this collective effort tell us? It suggests that the drive to understand the heavens is woven into the fabric of human consciousness. Faced with the same sun, moon, and stars, cultures separated by vast oceans arrived at similar solutions. They looked up, saw patterns, and felt a deep need to mark them, to predict them, and to build them into the heart of their world. This was not merely practical science or pure spirituality, but a seamless fusion of both. It was humanity's first great collaborative project with the universe, a project undertaken not as one people, but as many, all reaching for the same light. Our journey through these 20 ancient sites reveals a profound and universal truth. Cultures separated by vast oceans and thousands of years all look to the heavens, not as passive observers, but as meticulous scientists and philosophers who understood the cosmos with astonishing depth. They tracked the sun's unwavering path, mapped the moon's complex dance, and followed the planet's wandering journeys, encoding this celestial knowledge into the very fabric of their world. From Stonehenge's great sarsen ring framing the solstice sun to the intricate bronze gears of the Antikythera mechanism predicting eclipses, these were not the works of primitive stargazers. They were the achievements of sophisticated societies that saw time itself as a cosmic rhythm to be measured, marked, and woven into their daily lives. This shared legacy of sky watching challenges our modern assumptions about technological progress. It shows us that advanced astronomical understanding is not a linear path, but a flame that has flickered brightly in different eras and places, only to be temporarily forgotten and then painstakingly rediscovered. Today, many of us live under skies washed out by artificial light, disconnected from the stellar tapestry that once guided all of humanity. These ancient wonders stand as a powerful reminder of that fundamental connection, urging us to reclaim our place under the stars. They ask us to remember that we are part of a grand, cyclical story written in light and shadow. I invite you to visit these sites if you ever have the chance, to stand where ancient astronomers stood and feel that connection for yourself. Or you can simply step outside on a clear night, look up, and see the same celestial cycles that have guided humanity for millennia. Which of these 20 archaeological wonders resonated most deeply with you? Was it the mountain-top calendar of Chankillo, the sun dagger of Chaco Canyon, or the cosmic computer from a shipwreck? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this journey into lost knowledge, be sure to subscribe for more explorations into history's greatest mysteries.